we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with
All
it.
right, welcome to episode 158 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. I am posted up in the secret underground layer where I am watching the world spiral and watching the empire crumble. And it is pretty much coming unstitched as expected. No real surprises except for how stupid all of this is. So today, man, I wanted to give a quick review on some of the Iran goings-on and some of what that might lead into. And then I want to wrap up with a little potential expatriation discussion that one of the guys had floated about relocating to Southeast Asia. And then maybe a couple other things about some stuff that's going on that's just kind of indicative of how lame and fake and gay everything has become. So anyway, it's been a pretty casual week, man. I told you I busted up my knee a little bit. It's getting back straightened out. And I will tell you, man, I don't, as you become an old fuck, like it takes a little while to get healed up. You can't just take a nap and now, a serious soft tissue injury is up and running again. Like broken bones don't heal in an hour no more. But, I jammed up a knee pretty good, and I've been getting it worked on, doing, like, the whole proper physical therapy thing. And I'll tell you what, like, I never got any kind of a real look at that. I mean, really, like, my whole entire career, my whole life, I never went to, like, a proper trainer. The only thing I ever, like, you go to medical or something, and it'd be like, one, you don't want to be in here because you're going to get taken off operational status. You're going to start losing money. You might lose your place in line, and now guys that came in behind you are moving ahead in the stack, and now people start asking, like, well, what's wrong with you? You fuck something up or what? What's going on, buddy? So, it was always very much discouraged. And then even when guys would go, it was like it was such an afterthought. I mean, it makes me angry now thinking about it, but I remember it being such an afterthought that I remember guys getting hurt. And looking back, I could say, like, guys that I put through training, and I'd see them a little while later and, like, how you doing? Like, you'd see them, they lost a lot of weight or something. Like, what's going on, buddy? And they're like, oh, man, I got to get my shoulder cut on. I tore something in here. I fucked something up. And granted, you can screw yourself up, but you're not really encouraged to take good care of yourself. Like, you could be off at some training. Like, I remember this happened a lot. Like, you'd be at some training trip somewhere, a real kick in the balls, and you come back, like, you haven't been, training, like exercise training. Like, you've been out, running and gunning or some kind of thing, but you haven't been, like, running, lifting, stretching, any of this. No cool down, no warm up, none of this. So you come back now and like, okay, you're going to be out here for PT in the morning, ain't you? And like, all right, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing like this 6-mile run or, So you go out here and you just go out here and gut it out. And that was the rub of like, this is the job, dude. Well, no, I can't run right now. My knees are a little fucked up from being out here in the desert doing whatever. I don't give a shit. Oh, I can't be doing it. My back is a little, oh, you can't? Can't? What can't? Go to medical can't if you can't. Go get looked at. Go take yourself out of the lineup, weak genes. And you hear that too, man, weak genes. You got fucking weak genes, guy. That's the problem with you. So you would see this shit, man. And now having a chance to go to like an actual legit physical therapist, like a person that knows what the fuck they're doing. Like I just walk in there and a guy is like, all right, man, go ahead and walk over there, walk back over here. Let me see you do a squat. All right, let's see how this leg... Let me get a feel here. Yeah, okay, I can see exactly what's happening. Yeah, so, look at the way that your feet are pointing, and when you squat, see how your knee is like so in relation to your foot. Yeah, what that means is you're pulling too hard here, and you can see why this part of your leg is so much more developed because you're not using this muscle over here that you should. It's pulling everything out of alignment. That's why this hurts. And like, holy shit. And then the guy works even better. Then the guy works on you a little bit. It's been a couple of weeks. And it's like, holy shit, dude, I'm not in pain no more. I'm not just popping drugs to like cover for my weak genes. So that's been pretty cool, but it also pisses me off knowing that, for however many years, that it's just like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Suck it up. And when you're broke, then we'll replace you with some new dumb bastard that doesn't know any better. How's that grab you? So that's been cool, but not being able to work out as much as I would prefer to, dude, had me getting fat because I really, I had been running on like 20-year-old guy metabolism forever, like I eat whatever the hell I want because I'm going to go burn it off here in half an hour. And, you try to eat all right, but if you want to have a Pop-Tart, you want that? I love Pop-Tarts, dude. I fucking love Pop-Tarts. But, you want a Pop-Tart, you want a donut, you want to eat that whole pizza, whatever you want. Snack it up, dude. Don't go completely nuts, but eat how you like, and you're going to go burn that off. It's not going to be a problem. And I'll tell you, dude, when you can't burn it off, like I got fat, dude. Like I put on an easy 10, 15 pounds I didn't need to put on, and I was like, holy shit, you fat fuck. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to do this like an actual person here and gut it out. And, you're going to have to invest weeks and try to shave a little bit of this off. But I'll tell you what, probably 2.5, 3 weeks now, I've dropped 10 pounds, and it ain't that fucking hard. So this deal that I see, where I see people bitch and cry and like, I can't lose the weight. It's just not, it's my hormones. It's this thing. It's that thing. Like, dude, I'm fucking injured. All I'm doing is not eating. Like, it's not even something you got to go and actively do. You can just sit still and do this. You just sit there. You don't have to do anything. Just don't fucking eat. That's all. Well, I'm hungry. Yeah, no shit. Me too. But I'll tell you what, I saw this thing. And I looked up a bunch of this shit, man, because I'd heard different things. And especially, going back to like the 90s, you hear different things and you see different things. And I'll tell you this, like going back to like the 90s, this was like the heyday of the Joe Weider, Jim Bro, absolute dog shit input. Like cats didn't know, I don't think, that like you pick up one of them magazines and it was like the printed page. You'd see this shit a lot. I don't know, you see it now. Maybe that's one good thing about everything being so online is that you don't see so much stuff like the printed page, but you'd see these like gym bros, right? Like professional bodybuilders, and you wouldn't appreciate, you would not understand what you're looking at because it's a fucking magazine. Like you're going to click report? Like, these cats are lying to you, man. So you flip this shit open. And I would recommend, like, maybe get online and look up, like, Muscle and Fitness or Joe Weider products or this kind of shit. And what they were selling you, man, was, like, they'll have these professional bodybuilders. And so to begin with, these are dudes that are genetic freaks, like, just prone to build muscle. Just tend to walk around at fairly low body fat. Unusual people, extremely unusual people. And if you looked at enough issues of this, you see the same guys again and again and again and again. And it starts to click to you that like, one, like, is this just a magazine about one guy or, like a handful of guys? And you'd see a few new faces here and there, but it's like it's a recurring thing again and again and again. And what they're not telling you is like these cats are juiced to their fucking eyeballs. Like these cats, like they can't walk up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. These are not in shape people. So to call this muscle and fitness, no. Maybe muscle and chemistry, yes. But muscle and fitness, no. Muscle and pharmaceuticals, pharmaceuticals and chemistry, whatever. That, yes, maybe. So you could look at it that way, like if you were just saying, hey, look at the crazy shit I could do with a set of chemicals. Like, watch this shit. Yeah, that's impressive, man. Like, yeah, the cats are big. And, I don't know how much weight they're actually pushing, because if you look at actual power lifters, like these cats are moving weight. an actual, bodybuilder, a show pony like this cat, I don't know that he's moving that much weight. I don't know, and it's hard to say, like, what is the program this guy is running, because this cat is all chemicals. So you look at these magazines, and at the time, and every other page was like, buy this shit, bro. Buy this anabolic activator, bro. Buy this protein powder, bro. And like what we know now is that this was garbage. Like, this is dog shit content. Like, this is not good product. So like your protein powder, it's, and again, I ain't no authority on a lot of this shit, but being an old fuck, there is a lot that I've seen and heard that all, just over the course of having seen it in real life, rings true. So you'd see this shit like mass gainer, and it's like this giant fucking tub of whey protein. And what you find out is like this whey protein shit, that this is just a byproduct of cheese production. And it's got protein value in it. So they just kind of skim it off, and yeah, there's protein value in there. How well you absorb it as compared to, say, an egg or a steak, that's anybody's guess. How much contaminant is in there, what that kind of shit is doing to your body, like when you're using it as like a meal replacement, because, bro, I got to get fucking protein in. I can't, do this other shit. It's anybody's fucking guess. I would say I had tried or used some, because, dude, like the early 90s, late 80s, you don't have any idea. What do you got? You got a couple magazines that are sponsored by the people selling you the shit that's advertised. You got newspapers. You got like 3 channels, and it's all owned by our same little friends. So you'd get this shit, and you're like, whoa, I want to be jacked like this guy. What do I got to do? You need mass, bro. You need protein. You're not getting enough protein from your regular food. You need this shit. That shit? All right. I'll buy that shit. So you go, you buy this shit, and you end up just bloated. Like, you see a lot of guys like this, man. You go in a gym, cats are just fucking bloated up and like, oh, goddamn. But you are sucking down so many calories. You're bigger, you're young, you're lifting, you are sucking down calories. You're bigger, but you're puffy. And you'd see this shit where it's like, bro, you have to eat like every 4 hours. You got to keep the metabolism cranking. So you got to be eating every 4 hours. And you'd read shit about guys getting out of bed in the middle of the night to suck down like, some kind of protein, making a shake before you go to bed. And then you wake up and gluk, 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 suck that down, then go back to bed. And what you're seeing now, I guess, is all of where you can actually study what a person's hormonal profile is doing, the various hours of the day. And an interesting rule of thumb that I saw that is, shit starts to make sense, is when your stomach's empty, your balls are full. Yeah, so when your body's not trying to digest the shit that you've been eating all day, when your body's not trying to break that shit down and metabolize it, send it where it needs to go, now it can go and actually repair the shit that you busted up earlier, lifting or walking around or whatever the fuck, getting in a fight with an African. Your body can repair that shit. Your body can focus on other processes, like let's see where these hormones need to be. And it can do this a little more readily when you are asleep. So shit like waking up in the middle of the night to interrupt all this with more food, it's unbelievable anybody could ever gain anything. And you could say, like, oh, I gained 10 pounds, bro. Like, yeah, you gained 10 pounds in your ass. So you become a fat-ish fuck anyway. And really the only thing saving you is the fact that you're in there lifting every fucking day. They never talked about sleeping right. And then, you start talking about, like, let's get on the juice. Cats will talk about getting on the juice, but never talk about, hey, get yourself 8-9 hours a night or 8 hours and then a nap. And that's where you're going to see, like, now you're getting some fucking rest. Your body can recover. You can get your hormones where they need to be. Never talks about overtraining, where you're like, and this was, dude, in the special operations community, this was always like, more is better, dude. Go do the PT with the boys. Go do a 6-mile run. And then, well, bro, you got to get a lift in, right? So before you step off to go do whatever you were going to do today, like, just step into the gym real quick. Get a lift, okay? And plus, you could stay jacked this way. Burn some of them calories off, keep the machine running. You just fucking destroy yourself, man. And I think it takes time to figure it out. It takes some good science to figure out. But the major spoiler in all of it, I think, was that there was a movie, a real low budget piece of work about Joe Weider that came out a few years ago. And like I knew it somehow in my mind, I knew, but now I see the movie and surprise, surprise, Jewish, right? Yes, Joe Weider was fucking Jewish. In fact, let's look it up real quick just so we know for sure where we're at. Joe Weider, Jewish, born in Montreal to Polish-Jewish immigrant parents, Louis and Anna Weider. So not only Jewish, but Canadian Jewish. And just out there shilling you all manner of shit. So yeah, man, and if if you're an older dude, you'll remember these magazines. But you look in there, man, and there's Joe Weider with his little mustache, and they'd have like a little caricature of him, like jacked, even though he ain't, with his arm around like, Schwarzenegger or some shit. But I mean, just a real piece of shit, man. Just shilling away. Like, who gives a fuck that this is probably not actually very good for you, or that you don't actually need this shit to get in some real solid shape. Let's just sell you some powder there, Goy. Powder that makes you poor powder. I'll take some. Anyway, so yeah. Talk about your rabbit hole. Anyways, man, so I'd done a little, I'd say research, but I'm not a proper research. Like I read some articles. I read some like proper articles, like, scientific-ish articles about what your hormones are doing. And then just based on like, how's it working for me? Because I think anybody that's going to give you a solid piece of input where you're talking about getting in shape, losing a couple pounds, any of this, it always comes down to like what works for you. Because some cats can do like, yeah, bro, if I do like 3 to 5 reps for 5-6 sets and just leave that body part alone, I'm fucking gaining like a motherfucker. And other cats are like, that doesn't touch me, man. Like somebody that's like me, if I've got like a lot of endurance type experience, if I did like 4, 5, 6 sets, unless it's to absolute failure, that's not going to happen. But especially I think dudes with longer limbs, you're going to be failing at the bottom there, where part of that rep, like we talked about with the half reps with was that Jesse Paw Tech or whatever, with the prison style reps, you're leaving a whole lot in the tank, but a guy's got real long limbs. Like, you're going to get stuck at the bottom of a deep squat. And like, yeah, you have more in the tank, but you can't fucking move because you're not really designed for this. You're trying to kind of do something that you're not really designed for. So if we were going just based on like, what do you see working? What works for you? What works for other guys who are built like you? Then you could start seeing real product. But instead, what you're getting is fucking coin clipper that, and here, yeah, I'm seeing like, yeah, maintains strong ties to Judaism and donates to Chabad. And what a piece of shit. It never fails every fucking time. Anyway, we'll get into them. But what I was coming to, man, was like doing a strict, for me, like, I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm going fucking hard here. So I would not eat till like noon a lot of these days, like that first week. I was gutting it out. I wouldn't eat till like noon, and then I'd stop eating at like 6. So I had a pretty small window to eat. And what I found, and a lot of dudes said this, was like, even if you eat till you're full, in that window, like your body can't use all of this shit. That's why you eat throughout the day, when you're trying to be a normal person. But you eat throughout the day because your body's like, dude, I don't have anything to do with all this. Just like, get rid of it. I can't use all this. So when you limit your intake to this window, whatever you can't use, you're just going to get rid of. Also, too, then, that's leaving all that time for your body to repair and metabolize and get your hormones right. You get some good sleep. All of this shit starts panning out. So I've been doing that, dude, and I dropped like 10 pounds easy. Probably within 2 weeks, this last 2 weeks. I just got on there yesterday and I was like, yeah, bro, 10 pounds, easy. This shit ain't that hard. So this business of like, I just can't do it, my fucking thyroid or whatever the fuck, I have a hard time with it. And, dude, if you're a giant motherfucker, actually, I'd say if you're a giant motherfucker, if you're like 7 feet tall and weighing in at 400 pounds, what's 10 pounds to you? Like, skip one day, and you're going to drop 10 pounds easy. I could say, like, maybe if you were a small person, like if you should be a small person, like your little woman or something, but then it's like, well, you don't really have anything to worry about. You don't got to worry about dropping muscle mass or whatever. So just go with it. Relax. Fucking put your feet up. Go for a fucking walk. Skip a Pop-Tart. Whatever. But anyway, I digress, man. Good God Almighty. I got way down the rabbit hole on that. We'll just make this a long episode because I'm burning up 20 minutes talking about, Joe Weider and his fucking powder. It's magic fucking powder that makes you pour powder. So before we get into the Iran thing, a couple things that are going on nearby. I don't know if you saw at LaGuardia, there was a collision between an Air Canada jet and a fire truck. So apparently this Air Canada jet, they had some kind of an issue where they were saying they had some kind of a smell in the back of the plane. They thought maybe something was awry, so we're going to come back down and land. But now they had some other emergency at the same time. So the air traffic control people, and this was like nighttime, dark outside, they sent this fire truck. They cleared them to move across this active runway, and while they're moving across this runway, here comes this Air Canada jet, and it killed, I guess, both of the pilots, or whatever we're calling it, pilot and co-pilot, and then injured a bunch of other people. So to me, and I didn't go in the weeds in this thing with like, who's the dumbass here? I would say that, as much as I dislike Canada, it's hard to blame the pilots for this because, they said go ahead and land here. How I'm supposed to see a fucking fire truck, way down there? So that sucks, dude. But I think this was really a perfect example of what you get. Like, this is what you fucking get with this diversity bullshit where you've got all this high-tech shit. You got a lot of things happening at once. You can move all over the world if you want. If something goes wrong, I got a fire truck right there. I got the eye in the sky watching the whole fucking caper. And then you get this. Why do you get this? Because you let idiots into the country. Because we pretend this fucking game of like, oh, everybody's equal. They just need a shot at college. Or they just need you to not make fun of them where they can't hear you. Or some shit like this. And this is what you fucking get. The empire is fucking crumbling because motherfuckers refuse to engage with reality. So kind of a perfect example of this is another story that I just saw this morning in The Jardian. And this came out, fuck off, dude. They jock you for fucking money. Can I have money, Goy? Goy, I want money. But I swear to God, dude, like on the screen, as I'm looking at it, like a third of the screen is covered up with, hey, bro, like they're trying to suppress us, bro. Could you give us a little money, bro? Do you think you could? No, turd, I cannot. And you'll see why as I read this. So here's the headline. Canadian woman held with daughter by ICE warns all immigrants to lie low. Tanya Warner says she has documents showing she is in the U.S. legally, but immigration agents were not swayed. So here's this blonde, apparently Canadian woman, and this silly bitch got rolled up in Texas. So they're saying here, now this is, again, one of these deals where you see the shit initially and you're like, my goodness, this is just awful. Oh, how in the hell? What's the meaning of this? But then as you read along, you're like, oh, well, wait, it's starting to make sense now that these people are just fucking imbeciles. So here at the beginning, Canadian woman has been imprisoned with her 7-year-old daughter by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. She's cautioned other immigrants that they are at risk of detention even if they follow the correct legal process. So here, quoting her, don't go anywhere near a checkpoint, eh? If your papers are in processing, just lay low. Trump meant what he said. He's trying to get rid of everyone, whether they're good or bad. So, here, this to me kind of indicates your typical woman thinking, like, just to say whether somebody is good or bad. Like, you show me somebody that's just walking around out there saying, I'm the bad guy. I'm a bad guy out here. I see you're over here trying to, do the right thing or something. I'm just here to trip you and throw a fucking wrench in your spokes because I'm a bad guy. Nobody thinks they're the fucking bad guy. Most people, I think they have a pretty good fucking reason for what they're doing, even Nogs. I think it's a matter of coming to grips with the fact that, like, Your version of good guy and my version of good guy are just incompatible. But this, to me, is why women should not be voting in the first fucking place. This all according to Tanya Warner, 40 fucking 7, with her autistic daughter. So this woman appears to have, this kid don't look, what did she say? The kid is like 7 or something like this. So she had this kid when she was 40 and is apparently met this guy while in Canada, while in stupid Canada. And then they moved to Raymondville, Texas. They were stopped at a Border Patrol checkpoint in Sarita. Tanya Warner and her daughter were taken by ICE agents to be fingerprinted, and neither returned. So, you see this and you're like, my goodness gracious, it's just this blonde white woman and her kid, and they were rolled up and fingerprinted, and then they never brought her back. She just disappeared. So Warner's husband told the Vancouver Sun last week that ICE officials said, so good God almighty. So the husband told the paper that the ICE officials said, it's hard to keep track of how many layers of I heard from a guy who heard from another guy, that she overstayed her visa. So this is all very hearsay. So a guy says to a paper, and this is another news outlet, right? So according to The Guardian, who heard it from, I guess, the son, who heard it from the husband, who's saying he heard it from the ICE officials. So like fourth, fifth person removed here, whatever the fuck I'm guessing, that she overstayed her visa. So maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But he provided, according to all of this shit, with a copy of a U.S. employment authorization card issued to his wife just last year, and it had an expiry date of 8 June 2030. So let's get into this a little bit. So the husband, according to The Guardian, the husband told the Vancouver Sun that the ICE officials said that she overstayed her visa. So what I'm taking away from this is that this guy is saying, well, they say she overstayed her visa, even though I'm showing you this fucking card. But the problem with this, and I'm sure you're guessing by now, the problem with this is that this guy is just telling the newspaper, well, they say she overstayed her visa, but I have this card. Well, you know who doesn't have that card? This silly bitch. This silly broad who has no documentation that she's allowed to fucking be here. And surprise, surprise, if you can't demonstrate that you're here fucking legally, then what the fuck? You got to be able to provide some ID, lady. What the fuck? So this guy has it. Obviously, she does not. According to this, they were originally held at Rio Grande Valley Central something or other, and then they were moved on to somewhere else. This woman describes her treatment of her and her daughter as horrific from the start. After being held for about 5.5 hours, 5.5 whole hours at a checkpoint. So you were being held. Did you not have your phone? You couldn't call your old man and say, hey, bring that fucking card down here. Or were you just sitting there being a pain in the ass? Or do you even have a card? Or did you just tell everyone to fuck off? Basically, you didn't have anything, right? So she goes on that everyone was handcuffed, including children. Yeah, you know why? Because a 17-year-old is still a child, and a 17-year-old Mexican cannot be trusted. So you work with me, right? They're abusive. Their tactics are to threaten you, that all this shit. And then it closes out with just an appeal. So obviously, I'm going to say that it's 99% bullshit, because as it wraps up here, it just runs on that like, my love is here, my husband is here, and I'm trying to protect my family and this shit. And then somebody contacted consular official advocates for Canadian citizens abroad and raised concerns. Due to privacy considerations, no further information can be disclosed. So, which is to, like, there's no concern for privacy where you're going to put a picture of your daughter out here and do a little song and dance, and you're going to tell me all about how you were handcuffed and your kid was handcuffed and everybody's treated so horribly, but we can't give you any further details because privacy. So why don't you just say that this shit is all fucked up, like you don't have your shit together. So when you say your husband, is that your actual husband or your common law husband because you lived with him for however long? Is this his kid? I'm guessing it's not. I'm guessing you're a single mom. Who is this husband? Is it some Mexican dude? And this woman? I can't make heads or tails of this. right? So, but this is the kind of thing where you're getting pitched this line of shit, and all it's meant to do is water down what your country consists of. Right? You don't give me any facts. You give me a lot of song and dance, and then you come to me about, oh, why can't we all just get along? Why we can't just get along is because what was probably capable white men end up dead when diversity hires are telling fire trucks to cross active runways because people aren't paying the fuck attention. And I mean, for fuck's sake, if you were driving this fucking fire truck, look with your special eyes. How do you not fucking look over there? Like you fucking sucks, for the guy flying a plane. And maybe you could say, well, the guy in the tower, man, I got fish to fry. I got 100 fucking things going out here. You fucking fireman guy, what's your fucking excuse? There's, you can't count the guys in a plane, but there's a whole lot of other sets of eyes here that could go, hey, wait, why don't we slow the fuck down for 3 seconds before something gets fucked up? Same thing here. Before we go fucking wringing our hands over some silly fuck Canadian woman who doesn't have her fucking shit in order, that can't spin you a straight story, why don't we all slow the fuck down as this whole thing circles the drain? Of course, at this point, even if we did, it probably wouldn't matter too much because this Iran thing, and I'm coming to that here forthwith, is most likely, barring an extraordinary circumstance. Quite honestly, barring an extraordinary circumstance, I would say this is the end of the fucking party. I will say this is the end of the fucking party because the situation as it is, as it stands right now, right this second, pretty much every U.S. base in the region, talking about Kuwait, talking about Bahrain, talking about Saudi, talking about Iraq, all of these places, fucking Qatar, all of these places, people that are hosting the U.S., those U.S. locations have been fucking bombed. I don't know that they've been completely evacuated. I know that, like in Bahrain, American military is living in hotels and apartments and whatnot, basically scattered all over, basically hiding out. And when they're finding out where those people are staying, hotels, apartment buildings and such, those places are getting hit with drones. So all of these places, all of this foothold that you had, right, this projection of power, this shit has gone away. That is off the table. So this is like you went in here with fucking rent money, you laid that shit down, you bet on red, it came up black, fuck you, goodbye rent money. You're right back. You want to say you were right back where you started, except you don't have this other shit. Except it's much worse than that now. So you don't have this foothold, this ability to project power in this piece of the world. You have actually pulled resources from Asia and put over there. And some of those have been blown up too. But even if they're over there and they haven't been blown up, you can't do a whole fuck of a lot with them because any place you could put these things, like Patriot missile batteries, this kind of shit. What was this? One of the Marine Expeditionary units that got pulled from, I believe, Okinawa. They should be there by this Friday. So you're pulling all this shit over there now, and the question remains, well, can you actually do anything with it? So you could put it out there. The last shit you put out there got fucked up. So do you really want to put this shit out there, right? The last part of your rent money you bet, you lost. Do you really want to bet this rent money? Probably not. You're going to need to proceed a little more carefully. So your ability to project power with those assets is diminished, but you also lose the power you were able to project in the places you pulled them from. So this is where I think your regular person looking at this situation, they really blind themselves by looking only at the right here and now. And I appreciate the idea of like the being present and being mindful in this fucking Pier 1 imports Buddhism fucking shemale fucking bullshit that like, oh, I'm just focused on right now, bro. Okay, well, that's fucking charming. Except focusing on right now is butt fucking you where it comes at the expense of your ability to do anything tomorrow or anything somewhere else. So you've pulled assets from Asia, which means that now China has a whole lot more latitude. Not only does China have a whole lot more latitude, all of those other Asian countries, they have a whole lot more good reason to say, hey, China, I'm your bro, dude, whatever you need. If you want to set up shop here, if there's something I could do to win favor. Because all these small countries, they got to think this way, dude. These are small fucking places. They can get fucking stomped. They need fucking help. So when you pull out, China moves in. yeah, forget about it. I'm not taking the low-hanging fruit. Anyway, so you pull out, China moves in, you lose your foothold there, and you're not able to do what you want to do in the Middle East. To make matters even worse, this fucking Karg Island situation. They'll talk right now, and it's hard to say if it's, I'm not going to say a bluff, but a feint this direction, and then we try something else. What's happening right now is a whole shit ton of Marines, and I've heard anywhere from between 2,500 to 5,000 plus Marines plus expeditionary force. So this would be like a supporting ship network, you know. So you'd have all your knuckleheads on one of these big ass troop transport type ships, right? And now you're going to have some other ships that would serve as sort of like a resupply, but like a support. And I don't know how much, I don't know exactly what's over there in terms of ships that they could lob any kind of firepower onshore. I haven't seen that. I would imagine that's attached to the carrier strike group, but those have backed way off, being the Abe Lincoln and the Gerald Ford. And the Abe Lincoln, I guess there was some issues saying that there was a fire. Iran says they hit it with some drones or missiles, rockets, something. Abe Lincoln says they didn't hit us with anything. Fuck you, bro. We just caught on fire all by ourselves. Hard to say which is worse. If you say you got hit but you stayed in the fight, maybe that's something. If you say you didn't get hit but you caught fire all by yourself, it's, I don't know. I feel like that's arguably worse. The Gerald Ford is still fucked up. I guess there was a laundry fire there, and I think that has fallen back to Crete, taking it easy on Crete, where they're going to try to unfuck themselves. And then, I don't know, presumably get back at it. But, I mean, how fucking close can you get? Who can say? Oh, and then on top of that, you've got the 82nd Airborne that just spun up. And that's, I think it's 3,000 guys that they're looking at launching out yesterday, like immediately. I heard a thing on YouTube. I was listening to one of these channels, and it's that Green Beret dude, Valhalla VFT. And he, again, third-hand story here. It's like I'm the fucking Guardian. But this guy was talking about, a story that he heard from another, I don't know if the guy was active duty or just somebody he knew, that was getting a tattoo. And there was an active duty 82nd kid next to him getting a tattoo and got recalled. So this to me was funny because the guy says, all right, you know, you got recalled. You know, he's in there getting a tattoo, gets recalled. Everybody back to base. We're fucking spinning up to do whatever the fuck. So I will tell you this, man, like at the tier 1 level, you could be on the hook for like an immediate recall, like a 1 hour, 2 hour recall. Like, get your ass back here. We're launching fucking yesterday. You could be on the hook for that. And then, you know, somebody else could be, you know, they're just casual. You guys go do your thing, recover. You just got off deployment. And then somebody else could be downrange deployed right now. And you're just the on the hook crew. Yes. And in this instance, we had, way back when, we had beeper recall. They don't have fucking recall now. I don't know if dudes still have beepers. I don't imagine. That would be fucking silly. But you get a fucking beep like every day as a test fire just to make sure it fucking worked. And then, you know, if you got beeper recalled, so you couldn't cruise, you couldn't go out somewhere else. Like if you got recalled, like a short notice, holy fuck recall, you got to be there now, yesterday, fucking go. 82nd, I don't know that they're running no fucking 1 hour recall. So this story, this kid's getting a tattoo and he's in there sitting and gets fucking recall. I don't imagine they issued beepers to, you know, 5,000 fucking nugs. But the kid gets recalled and is like, holy shit, like has to jump up. That's the story. He jumps up in the middle of his tattoo and runs out the door. So on one hand, I'll say, oh, wow, you got recalled. Yeah, you're getting fucking sent if you got recalled. But on the other hand, I'll say, like, you're probably, like, he's just a young, energetic motherfucker that's like, fuck, I just got recalled. Bro, you got probably a couple hours, you know, at minimum. You know, what the fuck? If somebody's across town in traffic. He ain't going to be there in no 30 fucking minutes. So this guy then jumps up in the middle of an unfinished tattoo. I got to go. And sprints out the door like he's Clark fucking Kent. I got to get back to the pad and I got to do a fucking thing. No. So I feel bad in some ways that dumb shit, you could have stayed and finished your fucking tat, unless you just sat down, probably no reasonable person is going to work you for more than 3 hours at tops. And if he's some young dude, he probably ain't got that big of fucking arms anyway. You can't afford 3 hours. Yeah, you can't afford 3 hours of fucking ink. So sit there for another 2 hours. Sit there another hour and a half. Be cool. Tell them you're stuck in traffic, but you're on the way. Get in a fucking car and then go. You're fine. But this dude jumps up, hauls ass. Anyway, the point is, though, whether it's, you're on fucking 1 hour recall or you're on, don't go too fucking far because we might spin up. They did spin up, and it appears that the 82nd Airborne, and I think it's about 3,000 dudes the way they're talking, they are launching out. They have departed for the Middle East. So, as soon as I heard it, when you say Marines and then you say airborne, the comparison to, like a Normandy landing type situation is pretty apparent. However, the problem there is that the Normandy situation was 100,000 dudes. Yes, 100,000 motherfuckers against Germany, which was already beat the fuck up and already... And hey, holding their own, respectably. But this is a country, about the size of Texas, and they're holding their fucking own against the 3 biggest empires on the planet and, 55 countries total. So respect. But they'd been at it for a while, already taking a beating, with the Russians just flooding in sheer manpower. And then 100,000 dudes storming the beach on D-Day. So in fairness here, not just storming the beach, but the schematic there was a whole shit ton of Marines and, Army dudes, whatever the fuck, dropping that fucking gate and running out there. Let's go charge the darkies or whatever the fuck, running up the fucking beach and then dropping 82nd in behind them to try to, sort of box them in and get it on. The problem with that, obviously, then here is you don't have the ability to give any kind of support from offshore. Maybe some kind of air situation where you can drop ordnance. Again, this is all assuming that you can get these guys out of an aircraft in one piece. Yeah, because a fucking C-130 or something like this, 141, you're going to get fucking shot out of the sky. How the fuck is that going to work? So that's assuming you could even get this thing over the fucking target. And then once you dump guys out, what do you do now? Well, how are you going to supply these fucking guys? What can you carry on your back? At the most, at the very fucking most, dude. I did 5 days in the field just leaning against trees to sleep. And that sucked ass. So by day 5, you're like the walking fucking dead. How much are you going to get done in 5 days? You can get out there and fucking scrounge for fucking food, try to see what you could find. But who's to say the Iranians don't just set the whole place on fire and take off, and now you're fucking stuck there. So what are you going to do now, Ollie? Right? Now they can just fucking stand off and bomb you. You're going to have a hell of a time fucking resupplying. What are you going to put out fucking bundles? This whole plan is shit. So, and again, that's what appears to be the plan at this point. That's not to say that is the plan. That's just what it appears to be. So if you've had 40 years to think of this, you got to figure that these Iranians, what if they take Karg Island? Okay, well, we'll do this. Because, that seems like a pretty obvious foothold. These concepts of well, what if they ride horses? What if they ride in on camels dressed as clowns? You're not going to come up with every wazoo fucking idea. But this Karg Island fucking situation, it seems like a pretty straightforward, we had a plan for this. You had 40 years to work it out, and these Iranians don't seem stupid. So, I mean, dude, this don't seem like that good of an idea. Apart from that, the situation, the thick plottings further, insofar as these Iranians are now allowing cats like China and India to move through there, provided that they don't sell oil in dollars. And apparently Japan has just taken them up on this same deal. So all that smart fuck shit with, Trump and his pal, the new prime minister of Japan. Oh, he flips her a little shit, but they're cool. They're pals. They're friends. Oh, boy, he's so great. Yeah, no. Japan just said, yeah, dude, we'll deal in not dollars as well. So you see the dominoes starting to fall. So the question here then is, even if the U.S. backs out of there and says, okay, all right, we just wanted to make a point, we're going to go away. How are you going to get this fucking toothpaste back in the tube? You're fucking not. These cats are going to be selling oil in not dollars, and there ain't shit that you can really do. What are you going to fucking do about it? Are you going to go to China then and say, like, hey, motherfucker, you can't be, like, doing that? Because what are they going to say? What are you going to fucking do about it? You going to come over here? You going to fucking start a war with us now? You going to move all those assets over to here now? Those fucking carriers? One that's already overextended and busted up, the other one that's busted up. You going to move all that shit over here? You going to move all those Marines over here? Israel's not going to like that very much. Israel's going to take a fucking beating for sure then. They're going to get what they have coming. You going to do that? No, of course you're not going to do that. You can't do that. You going to do that to India? No, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't do shit. So for my money, that's the kind of the death knell, if you like. That toothpaste ain't going back in the tube. I don't know how you unfuck this. I don't honestly know how you unfuck this without cracking open your own petroleum capability and sell that in dollars. Or maybe you continue with the refining capability, which, and again, I ain't your oil guy, but I know a lot of oil from a lot of places has to come to the U.S. to get refined before it gets shipped on somewhere else. Maybe you insist on doing that work in dollars. You could do something, but you're going to have to do something because what you're doing now ain't fucking working. So apart from that then, further down the line, makes shit even more fucked up, is where oil is sitting price-wise right now. So right now, let's take a look. What is the current price of oil? Okay, it's right at $100. Right at $100 a barrel. And I have no doubt that is being... they are manipulating and hustling and jockeying and lying and conniving and favor calling and what have you to get that shit to be manageable. Because the minute that shit starts springing up there, and dude, I hear people talking about like it could be aimed for 200 if this goes on much longer. That when it gets that expensive, even if where you are, like in the States, we could say like, yeah, dude, we don't get that much from there, but we do get a lot of stuff from somewhere else. We get a lot of stuff from overseas because, again, we don't produce that much shit in the States. That's a fucking problem because now when it's got to get shipped all the way over here, the price of that shit starts to go up. The price of your fucking knickknacks goes up. So that shit goes up. The price of everything goes up. Moving things around goes up. So you could say that doesn't affect me, but it will. It will. It always fucking does. And in the States, dude, it's like they'll just raise it because they can. Oh, it's going up everywhere else. Ha, ha, ha. Now it's fucking $6, $7, $8 a gallon. Ha, ha, fuck you. Dude, you don't get your fucking oil from Iran. Yeah, but fuck you anyway. Terrific. Thanks. Good looking out. So that's a problem. And then on top of that is this nuclear situation. So this nuclear situation, well, not then just the nuclear situation, but also the energy infrastructure situation. So Iran has said, you guys have hit our hospitals. We haven't hit your hospitals. You guys have hit fire trucks. We haven't hit your fire trucks. You hit our schools. We haven't hit your schools. If you hit our energy infrastructure, we're going to hit your energy infrastructure and more. So if you fuck around, and so far, Iran has not bluffed. They have not done this Trump taco bullshit where, like, if you do, bro, if you fucking do, well, okay, or well, if you do this, then, and fucking redraw their line and move their goalposts. They've said, man, if you do this, we got something for your ass. And every time, they haven't been full of shit. So Now they're saying, like, you hit our energy infrastructure, we're going to hit you fucking hard. And now it appears that the U.S. and or Israel has done a little, like, as close as humanly possible to some energy infrastructure type products, type locations in a very, I'm not touching you, what about this, what about that, what are you going to do now, what are you going to do now? And I don't know why you would do that shit. Like, these people haven't bullshitted you so far. Like, why are you fucking doing this? But Iran has also been launching at Dimona, the Israeli nuclear facility. And the deal there is that it's starting to become apparent where they're having to say, like, okay, well, yeah, there is nuclear shit there. We just don't want you to, like, hit it or whatever. So the rub there is that if you were unaware, you should be aware if you're listening to this. It's an undeclared nuclear weapons program, and they got all of their nuclear material by stealing it from the U.S. So it's a pretty blatant situation, but basically this happened under James Jesus England. Jesus, what an asshole. This happened under James Jesus Angleton. He was the counterterrorism chief at CIA for a very long time. And this guy was like Lindsey Graham, like the prototype Lindsey Graham. And this guy basically facilitated the theft of U.S. nuclear material to stand up Israel's nuclear weapons program. There was a dude named Mordecai Vanunu that blew the whistle on this a while ago. And this guy got imprisoned by these Israelis, and so far as I'm aware, is still sitting in prison. So they've denied it this entire time, but now that it's becoming more apparent, it'll be interesting to see if anybody happens to mention a couple of laws that would apply to this situation. So one is the Symington Act. I'm not sure how to say that. Symington, we'll just say that. And the other is the Glenn Amendment. Or wait, these might both be amendments. Glenn Amendment and, yeah, Symington Amendment. So Symington Amendment, a law enacted in 1976 that prohibits the extension of economic or military assistance to any non-nuclear weapon state that receives or delivers nuclear enrichment or reprocessing technology without full scope safeguards from the IAEA. That's International Atomic Energy Agency. So pretty straightforward. You can't be lending these motherfuckers a hand if they've got undeclared nuclear capability. So a lot of what happens here, though, with Israel is there's a lot of, as you would expect with these coin clippers, a lot of hustling, a lot of side door, back door. Oh, it's not this, it's actually that. No, I'm actually just buying pencils from them at $1 million a shot or some kind of hustle like this. But on top of that, the Glenn Amendment, Section 102 of the Arms Export Control Act, mandates mandatory economic and military sanctions against any non-nuclear weapon state that the U.S. president determines has received, detonated, or sought to develop a nuclear explosive device. So not only can you not be giving them money, you have to sanction them. You have to make it hurt for these fucks. So there's a couple situations here where they talk about, like, oh yeah, but it was waived in some instances where you're talking about, Pakistan or some kind of shit, and India, for example, here. So it's complete ass. But what's really dicked is that it's never come up. Like, nobody's ever talked about, what about Israel, dude? Are we going to put this Glenn Amendment and Symington Amendment, are we going to discuss that where we're talking about Israel? Oh, God, geez, I'm not sure, Goy. I mean, why does it have to be that way? So hopefully maybe at some point we start talking about that. I do feel like at this point that everybody knows that these people are not our friend. I mean, it is quite something to see literally everyone everywhere saying, yeah, these people suck. I hate these people. I hate this country, and looking to create distance. So that's nice. But what I would like to see is that, yeah, we're not giving you any more money. In fact, we're going to hamstring your stupid ass. Anyway, all right, moving on then. Let's talk about something that came up in the chat here real quick, and then we'll wrap it up for today. One of the dudes asked about, hey, man, what do you think about the idea of relocating to Vietnam? So the idea generally of relocating to Southeast Asia, this dude had specifically mentioned Vietnam. I knew one dude that moved to Vietnam, and he married a Vietnamese chick, and he seemed to like it all right. I've known some dudes that lived a few places. I know a few dudes that lived in Thailand. I know a few guys that lived in the Philippines. I spent a lot of time in the Philippines. I've spent a little time in Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Malaysia, a lot of these stupid places. I know one dude also that lived in Cambodia for a while and actually opened a bar there. And I've always wanted to hang out in Japan, know a lot about the place and a good bit about the people, but I've never managed to go there. Or to Korea, I know more people than I want to know from Korea, but I've never been there. Anyway, so in general, I guess the thing about Asia is that I try to think of, I guess in summary, the way I would think of it is that there's a kind of an average, I think, for the way a person is. I mean, then that's anywhere. For the corruption a person is willing to tolerate, the shenanigans a person is willing to get up to. I think there's like an average, like a happy medium generally. And when you cheat too far in one direction, in any kind of a way, whether it's how you behave publicly, how you display yourself publicly, what are the rules for interacting among different classes. Anytime you cheat too far one direction, there's going to be some kind of an offset. So, for example, like with Japanese people, you know, the way that we talk about them as like honorary Aryans, where these cats are like they're, you know, very, they say a shame-driven society where like the last thing you want to do is embarrass your family. So even when they present their name, they tell you their last name first and then their personal name. So I would have to call myself Long Coffee. So I'm not doing that. But this is their mindset that you always have to do your best. They even have one word that just means do your best. Ganbaru. Right? Do your best. Ganbatte ne? So do your best. They'll always say this shit. And this is very important to them because you want to do your best in life. You want to do your best for your family. You want to give a good impression. So to kill yourself, you know, if you really fucked up, this is like a way to sort of restore your honor or the honor of your family. They're like, look, I fucked this up. I didn't do it on purpose, but this is the best I could do is just take myself out of the picture. And to them, this kind of makes sense, right? So we would see this as a very strict kind of a way. But now other shit, so what I'm talking about, where this sort of balances out, is like other shit, like their like as a salaryman, the affinity for boozing or getting shithoused on the train, or like where I heard of these things where like you could buy like panties worn by schoolgirls, and that's what it's called. You know, it's probably worn by some dude, but you can buy this shit out of a vending machine. So all of this kind of crazy shit, and then a lot of corruption, a lot of hookup, where like, bro, like the fix is in, right? So like if you're sitting at the table and you don't know who the sucker is, then probably the sucker is you. If you don't know, then you do know. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of this kind of shit that goes on. And the phrase they have for it is big sleeves, where you think of like the old-timey, you know, like the old-timey Asian type garb, and you'd have the big sleeves. And now, you know, the tax collector comes or the state official comes and you just slip a little something in his sleeve, and that's to sort of grease the wheels. It's like how we would say grease the wheels is the big sleeves. So there is a lot of this shit in Japanese culture, like especially in Japan, as I understand. And a lot of it is the same way, definitely in the Philippines. I mean, this place is insane. But I mean, again here, a place like the Philippines or Thailand where you can literally buy anything. You ask if you want to buy a person. Like a dude that I worked with asked this Chinese gangster dude that we met, like, hey, just out of curiosity, can I like buy a person? Like a girl? He's like, oh, yeah. But you have to feed her. Tells him you got to feed her. You got to feed her. You can't let her starve. You know, if you buy her, she's yours. And he's like, okay, you know. So I guess that's the thing about a lot of these places is that it's not that they have no rules. It's just that they don't have your rules. And especially as an outsider, and you are an outsider as a white dude, like make no mistake. Like you some of these places you go and visit, I mean, Southeast Asia, they're all, like a head shorter than you. Even if you're a short king, they're going to be shorter than you. They're kind of skinny because they don't eat that much, right? They live on fucking rice. But you can outmuscle them and such. But even so, like you're much bigger, but you're still, they'll respect you, but you're still very much an outsider. So you can make friends and shit. But if there's ever a time where you go someplace and somebody's like, yeah, I don't want that motherfucker in here, even whoever you think your friend is going to be like, sorry, bro, you can't come in. Like I was in Hong Kong. I mean, do you see this in Hong Kong? You definitely see it in like in Japan, in Singapore, and there will be places that say right on the fucking door, and it'll say like no foreigners, or no fucking military, or no American, or whatever. And it'll say it in Chinese, and then it'll say it in fucked up English, like no foreign, whatever. But it'll say this shit, and like basically you ain't fucking welcome. So all that shit that you're used to, like, hey, maybe they don't like me so much in here, but as long as I'm cool, then they can't really fuck with me too much. Like, no, dude, they will still fuck with you. They won't fuck with you. They'll basically be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Not welcome here. So moving along, like something like we talked about before, like China, I don't know that I would even try that shit. That might be weird as fuck. And I haven't been to like China proper. I've been to Hong Kong. And that was a very long time ago. But it's fucking, I mean, a lot of this shit, I think you got to weigh the difference between it's cool to visit and then is it cool to live there? Because a lot of this shit, like you go as a tourist or just go visiting and you're like, look at all the weirdness, hooray. But after you're there for a little while, like, dude, the Philippines, barring all the, the sex tourist weirdness, even apart from that shit, right? You could look at the place and like, look how fucking weird it is. Look how crazy it is. You could just buy chicken. This was one of my favorite. This is something that I really like that I wish they had in the States. There are motherfuckers at the side of the road with these fucking little stands. And it's sort of like if you go to a park and you know how they have that barbecue there that's just like there. They'll have one of these fucking things like installed in the side of the fucking road. And this sometimes is like out in the province, but it's, it's something that you fucking see. And it'll be there, dude. That barbecue ain't going fucking anywhere. And then they'll have like these looks like little wooden lean-to little tents and little pegs under each of them. And to each of these pegs, there's a chicken. All right. So they go out there with a batch of chickens every fucking day. And they whack these fucking chickens up and they cook these fuckers right at the side of the road. They call it lechon manok. It's like chicken at the side of the road. And it's good as fuck, dude. I will slap the shit out of some lechon manok. Like you pull up and you just pull over there and it's like $5 in a guy's hand and you like half a chicken. And it's in like a fucking grocery bag, like a plastic, like you'd get some carrots or some shit from the store. Like this plastic bag. And they got some sweet, like, I don't know, like sweet and sour sauce type shit. They just dump it on there and you just take that shit and you drive off with it. So I pull up places I'm going to do some shit, some shady business, a fucking secret squirrel over here. And I pull up with this fucking sauce all over my face and fingers and shit. They're like, oh, what you're doing? I'm like, I'm eating fucking chicken, dude. What do you want from me? Get out of my face. I like that shit, but a lot of other shit, dude. It's so fucking weird, man. I mean, for example, again, like you pull up at a place and there'll be street kids and street kids there, like they live at like they sleep at the orphanage or whatever. But in the day they run and they fuck around in town and they can't go boozing like the old people can, but they'll beg you for money and then they go to the store and they get rubber cement and then they huff that shit and get all fucking zippy and fucking wow, and they fuck around in the street. Sometimes they get run over, whatever. But then as you pull up, they're coming mooching you for fucking change. And they'll tell you that they're going to be your valet, right? So they're going to keep an eye on your car while you're wherever you are doing whatever you do. You can take two approaches to this. The valet, the begging in this part of the world too. And it ain't everywhere, but a lot of places, there's a lot of fucking beggars. So like with this particular situation, if you buy a lot of shit in cash, you just keep change in the car. I just kept change right in the fucking car. So when I was in the same town for a long time, I would pull up and here comes these fucking kids and they're like, hey, sir. And I'm like, yeah, you watch the car. Okay, watch the car. So these fucks, they know that they're going to get, I don't know what comes out to like $1 or $2 out of you every time you come out. So if you go to this restaurant, you go to the fucking store, and some of these fucks, I don't know, they know where the fuck you are somehow. They get your pattern of life down. So you pull up to this restaurant, oh sir, hello sir, and somehow they know where you're going to be. There's a few of them like staked out someplace, and they know where you're at. But they know that they're going to get a couple bucks when you come out. So you come out, and I just like reach in there and like throw a grip of change into the fucking street. So whenever I buy something, I just keep the fucking change. Tip? Yeah, here's a tip. Get a real fucking job. But I keep the change, just put that in the car, and now whenever, the street kids are there, these fuckers will like sleep on the car, dude. They don't give a fuck. They'll sit on that fucking thing, rain or shine. They'll be on that car because they want that dollar, when you come out. So you come out, throw the fucking change wherever, on the ground, in the street, whatever. They'll go run and get it. They'll run into fucking traffic to get this shit. And what works, though, is that these people don't think too far ahead. So if there's somebody's going to fuck around, they come in there like, hey, I want to fuck with that guy's car or whatever. I want to put this device on this guy's car, something, anything. These kids won't let it fucking happen. You could think of like, maybe I hand these kids $100. How you going to whack up $100? What are you going to do? And when you come out, these kids are going to look at you fucking weird. Something weird's going to go on. You're going to smell this shit in the air. So this was like my little modified security detail, like these fucking beggars. But the begging, dude, it's everywhere. Sir, give me money. I swear to God, they'll say this. They'll walk right up to you. Grown men walk right up to you. Sir, give me money, sir. I'm not giving you shit. And there's a definite vibe. There's a feel to it. Like when I just got there, I'm going to meet some of these shady characters, and there's like bar girls everywhere. It's just a fixture. Like literally everything is for sale. Like you think bar girl, like you think of a Chuck Norris movie. Like I'm going to go to this one certain place, and there's going to be naked Asian chicks and shit beer and a French guy with a parrot on his shoulder over there selling machine guns or some shit. It ain't like that, dude. Literally everyone, everywhere is for sale for something. You want somebody killed, you want your car watched, you want information about X, Y, and Z, you want whatever the fuck you want. You want a ticket to the cockfights. You can get it. Ask anybody. Like these motherfuckers will bend over backwards. They will bend time and space to get you what you need if you've got the money. Which, again, this kind of thing I like. Like if you needed something, you say, bro, I need X, Y, and Z. If this cat can't get it for you, he'll be like, I know this guy. I know my cousin. He knows where to get this one. And he'll get on the fucking phone and he'll send some broke-ass text message and a guy will show up. You want a fucking space shuttle? They'll get you a fucking space shuttle. It might have 3 wings. It might have like a wheel where no wheels belong. But if you can pay for it, these fuckers will figure out a way to get you a space shuttle. In the States is like, and this pissed me off when I came back from Asia, was like, you go into like a restaurant and you're like say you go to barbecue. This always pisses me off. And you're like, yeah, I want this combination of, I want these ribs and this brisket. Oh, sir, it doesn't come like that. I don't give a fuck what you say. Bring me out a plate and put this product and this product on the same plate. Put it in front of me. Well, what I could do, I guess what you could do is go do what I asked you to do. Bring that shit out here. And then at the end, bring me a fucking bill with whatever it is you say that's worth. Do that. Do you understand? It's ass pain. That's something that I really liked about Southeast Asia was whatever the fuck you come up with, they're going to shit away to get it for you. They're big on that kind of customer service thing. As far as like wait staff type shit, it was like they're not working for tips, dude. A lot of time they don't even know that you might tip. So they don't give a fuck, dude. Like it's half-ass and then some. But if they do understand it, like, oh, you're American. Oh, and you're going to probably tip. So, like, I guess Danish motherfuckers, Norwegian motherfuckers, a lot of Europeans, they don't tip at all. And they'll pretend that, like, oh, it's customary. We don't tip. It was like that in Australia, too. I was in Australia, and I could be, like, 3 people back and, like, I need another. And they will, again, bend time and space. Like, that fucker is going to tip you. Get him whatever he needs. So that shit does go a long way, which I think is pretty cool. But, I mean, again, shit like just learning the rules of the road because it ain't the same as here. A motherfucker might try you. If you get a chance, dude, look at some of the videos out of, like, Thailand. There is hilarious shit with, like, drunk Westerners, like Germans or Brits or whoever, dude. And they're in Thailand, maybe Bangkok or Pattaya. And it's this place called Walking Street. And it's basically like one of these like bar streets. Like there's not really cars that go on this street. You just walk up and down here. It's all bars, all girly bars. So there's going to be, like, again, you got to learn the rules of the road here. So like us, especially us, our guy, us, we don't jive with no fucking trannies. It's not my cup of tea, right? So if you're in the States and you see some dude in a set of heels, like, what is this shit? What the fuck's going on here? But if you go to like Asia, you go to Thailand and you're on Walking Street, now it's like you see a dude in a set of heels with fake tits. It's like, what do you fucking want? Look where you are, dude. It's like being like Pinocchio, like the cartoon Pinocchio. You're on Pleasure Island and you're going to bitch about, like, there's a kid over there drinking a beer. Yeah, no shit. This whole island is a kid drinking a beer, smoking a cigar, hitting somebody with a fucking pool cue. What did you fucking think when you pulled up here? That's what this place is. And there is a lot of places where, like, yeah, we don't do that here, or like you save that shit for over there. But again, it's like this deal where you got to learn these rules of the road. So some of these videos, you got to see this shit where somebody will say something to one of these. What the fuck do they call them, dude? I think they call them baklas. And dude, it's no, in I think it's in Thailand they call them katoys, and in the Philippines they call them baklas. It's the lady boys, right? The trannies. So in Thailand, there's videos of like somebody will fuck with them, and these fuckers, like some of them, like they train Muay Thai in the day, and then they go out here and put on a wig and suck dick at night. And there'll be some drunk Brit or some shit that's like, you're a fucking dude. Like, yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody knows this is a dude. And you see them like kick off the high heels and throw their fucking wig down, and they take that Muay Thai stance. And they're like, zap, 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 and just fucking drill this dude. And this poor fucker goes down and like, oh shit. And people are pouring, all the fucking hookers, they're all pouring out and they want to take a shot at this guy. So it kind of should serve as an indicator, yeah, where you stand. Like, you're their friend when they want those dollars American, when they want that good money. But as soon as you fuck around and they decide they don't like you, like, they will fucking gang up on you in a second. And it does not take much. So you got like your what, your Vietnam, your Thailand, which is probably about as civilized as it gets. Moving westward, like what dudes call the Wild West. I knew a dude that was a regular dude, a pretty much regular, well, regular from where I came from, but an otherwise regular guy. And I guess early on in his career, he was kind of a pretty boy because he was still real handsome Dan. And I think I'd mentioned this guy before. Like, he was bipolar as fuck, dude. Real handsome Dan motherfucker, nice guy. Like, you walk into bars and women would walk up to him. Like, there were a lot of cats like this in this community. And if you're not like that, it kind of pisses you off. You're like, God damn it, sucks. But this is how this cat was. And, like, women would walk up to him and he'd like soak it in a little while. Like, hey, yeah, what's up? But then he'd get fucked up a little bit, and I can't count. Like, we would make bets on like, how fast do you think this guy's going to get us fucking thrown out of here? And it would never take long. The guy would get a few drinks in him, and some woman would say something that maybe it wasn't even to him, and he'd have her by the fucking throat or have her by the hair and like, I'll tell you something, bitch. I'll fucking tell you. And you're like, hey, bro, fuck, knock that shit off. And hey, you gotta go, man. I can't have that shit. And you're like, fuck. So this guy, he kind of went off the rails, and I guess he was a real nice guy earlier on, but he had married a bartender. I heard she was hot. I never met her. Married this bartender, goes on deployment. I guess she's basically banging a basketball team, comes back, kind of fucked him up in the head, so he went off the rails. So he had never been to Southeast Asia at this point. And me and another guy, a guy whose name me and another guy told him about the place. Like, yeah, it's fucking nutty, dude. If you want to, you want to go there, you want to get crazy, you want to grab people by the head, this is a place you can fucking do it. He's like, really? We're like, well, yeah, I don't know that means it's really a good idea, but you can, I guess. Oh, fuck, I'm going. And we're like, yeah, all right, whatever, man. So this guy would always talk about it, but then he got out. This fucking guy got out at like 17 years. He got pissed about something. I don't even remember what, but he got pissed and he got out at 17 years. Like, fucked himself out of free money. It's just fucking nuts. But he gets out. He goes to fucking Cambodia, opens a fucking bar, marries a local chick, has a bunch of half tree walker children, brings these fuckers back. The guy hit me up out of nowhere, and for a while it was this deal where like a lot of guys would get out and they come back and they try to put together some kind of security type thing, consulting type thing, bodyguard type thing, executive security, whatever the fuck type thing. They try to put this shit together. And the deal kind of was, though, that like, yeah, you know how to do this shit. You have people you're connected to that can also do this shit, but you don't know anybody who needs this shit. And the people who do need this shit don't know who the fuck you are. So a lot of dudes will do this, and you'd get a lot of calls. Like, you get out, you retire, whatever. And guys will call you and like, bro, what are you doing? You working? Like, kind of sometimes. You want some work? I always want some work. Here's what I'm putting together. And you're like, fuck, dude, as soon as you hear, here's what I'm putting together, you kind of know like, all right, well, it might be cool. It might be all fucked up. I don't know if this is, yeah, dude, put me down. Call me if you got something. I'll be around. You will never hear from him again. But this dude called me in. He's like, hey, what you doing, man? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're still alive? He's like, yeah, man. I got married and moved back. I don't know, bro. It's fucking crazy. Like, yeah, I bet it's fucking crazy. But yeah, but again, this shit, that's the fucking Wild West. And, the further that direction you go, the more likely you are to run into some motherfuckers who just do not care. So while it may be cheap, and depending on the lifestyle you choose, maybe you get by okay, but, maybe also you get ripped off. I had a dude call me. There was a dude that I knew, a dude that I called Persian Johnny Bravo, because he was, I don't know exactly how Persian this motherfucker was, but I know that he had basically more money than God, and I believe, just because of the way he wouldn't talk about it, that this dude was in some way connected to what used to be the royal family. And I don't know, like in Saudi or something where you could be 10 people removed and you're still connected. You're not, the fucking crown prince or nothing. But this dude struck me as one of these cats. Like, the dude was everywhere. Like, hey, what are you doing today? And you're like, I'm out here. Hey, I'll fly out. We'll hang out. Like, all right, cool. So, this guy hit me up once and he goes, hey, I know this. And he spent, I guess, grew up, if you will, in New England. So he's like a Persian guy. He's fucking jacked. But he talks like he's fucking Boston, kid. I got a situation, kid. You gotta help me out with this. So I said, all right, what's happening? And he's like, I know this fucking guy, and he's out fucking Philippines. He's fucking around. His fucking kid gets rolled up for fucking some underage girl. You think you could call? You make a fucking phone call? You help out? Is there anything you think you could do? I said, yeah, maybe, dude, maybe. And I call out there. And so here's kind of what I'm getting at is there's like a lot of layers of bullshit where you can get fucked around a lot of ways, and there's some ways you can get out of it, but you got to know which wheels to grease. So I knew a couple guys that were still out there that could probably pull a string or two. And I called out there. I said, hey, man, I know a guy that's got a situation like XYZ. Can you call around and see what the deal is with this fucking guy? So these guys came up with like court documents, the whole deal. And long and short, this guy was banging like what is probably, I think she was 17. And this guy was maybe mid-20s or something. So he's banging this girl, which, like, let's not fucking lie to each other. Like, these girls are hooking at 15. These are fucking facts, And it ain't like, some places I know that women get pressed into this shit. Girls get pressed into this shit. A lot of places, they are beating down the fucking door to get into this shit. Like, they're doing this all hours, dude. They knock off work and head to the bar because they're going to make more in one night than they would otherwise make in a month. So it ain't like, they ain't getting forced into shit. So... And again, I don't know the whole story on this thing because I never went back out there over this particular guy. So, caveat, whatever. But what I won't hear is like, oh, totally fucking innocent. Well, I don't know about that. So apparently this guy had been banging this girl for a while. Her fucking folks found out. They wanted money. This guy didn't want to kick down. So they called what's called the barangay captain. So it's like the neighborhood boss. Yeah, like every ghetto neighborhood, usually the ghetto neighborhoods. They have what they call a barangay captain. So they go to the barangay captain and they're like, yeah, this guy, he's banging my daughter. And so this guy and some of his friends grip the guy up and they're like, hey, shithead, you got to make it right with this family. And usually that's some Asian style kowtowing and, oh, honorable father and this and fucking your poor besmirched hooker of a daughter or whatever. Let me give you $100 and now you're going to be fine. You got to fuck around, you got to pay a little, but you're going to get by, right? So he ain't going to fucking do it. But now it escalates. So it escalates to local police. Police snatch him up. Because it's this white dude, now it gets national attention. Because what? This fucking white dude, you come over here, you besmirch the honor of this young girl, this young, decent local girl, they're always going to call it. And then you refuse to make it right? What the fuck is wrong with you? The problem is now that it's in the court system, like you're out of the neighborhood, right? Where you could have paid this out for like $100, it'd be over with. $1,000 tops, right? And it would be over with. Said it's fucking done. No paperwork, no nothing, no hurt feelings. You could probably go on banging her. You could marry her if you want, but you got to handle this. But now it's in an official capacity, and people have eyes on it. So the guy calls me and he's like, yeah, you're not going to unfuck this, dude. You're going to have to get a lawyer for this fucking guy. You could do that or you could try to smuggle him out. I was like, well, maybe. So I made some calls about that. I called one guy that I knew that had been in the same community I was in, that knew some people basically, and had some pilot type connection, some private pilot type connection. So I call this kid's parents. So I'm on the phone with this kid's parents. I'm like, look, this is a situation. No shit. This kid fucked up. It's at a national level. You could either spring for a lawyer. We could see about smuggling him out. Smuggling him out is probably the safer option, more affordable option. And really, this ain't like smuggling somebody out of fucking Russia or some shit. This is really like, give that guard $500, spread it around. They'll look the other way. This guy walks off into the bushes. Somebody in a car picks him up. You drive him to the local airfield. Poof, he's fucking gone. You'll never see him again. Easy peasy. All right. But they were like, no, that's not something we're going to entertain. I'm like, all right, well, best of luck, I guess. That was the last I ever fucking heard of it. Anyway, man, yeah, so this is what I'm getting at, man, that you got to be willing to learn how to walk between the raindrops, and you're going to have to unlearn this shit that you know from living in, somewhere surrounded by white people, and learn how to live somewhere surrounded by people who walk up the side of a tree using just their feet. It's fucking kooky. Your other options here, you're looking at like Indonesia, Malaysia. You got to remember, like these places and a lot of places in the Philippines, like the whole southern half of that country, it's fucking Muslim, dude. These places are Muslim. I've heard a lot of people talk about Malaysia, how it's cool. KL, fucking Kuala Lumpur, or Bali in Indonesia. Oh, fucking vacation town. Yay, hooray, cool. Understand you're in a fucking Muslim country, dude. The thing about it, though, is like it's got all the worst parts. It's got all the worst parts of being in a Muslim country. So there's the violence, there's the sectarianism, there's the strict laws when they decide to enforce them, but there's also that Asian-style corruption, and that works both ways. So you can buy your way out of a lot of shit, but it also means that, like, if these fuckers decide to do you wrong, like, they will fucking just roll you up. They'll hem you up, and there'll be somebody standing there like, oh, no, I'd never seen this guy before. Like, motherfucker, we were just drinking together. So, dude, I'm telling you, like, I've been in Muslim bars. I've been in a Muslim strip club where they're like, don't go in out. That's a Muslim. So you're like, it's a fucking strip club. Yeah, but it's Muslim, dude. Like, do they serve booze in there? Yeah, but don't go in there, bro. Just don't. Looking lastly then, I guess, further west, I mean, you're looking at stuff like India, Sri Lanka. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the stands, Shitcanistan, Kazakhstan, Trashcanistan, any of this, Turkmenistan. I did see a video about Turkmenistan. Trouble, I mean, it borders Iran and what else, man? Uzbekistan. I don't know that I'd ever want to go there, man. That might be super fucked up. I mean, I could tell you Afghanistan is dog shit. I've heard Pakistan is, I've never been to Pakistan. I heard it's total dog shit. One of my Terps in Afghanistan used to go, he was telling me a story about Pakistan that, like, some guy had paid off the cops so he could murder some dude that done him wrong, and then went to a wedding where this guy was supposed to be, started shooting, shot the wrong guy, and then the cops were on his ass chasing him down, not because he killed some guy, but because they wanted more money. Like, you paid to kill this guy, you didn't pay to kill that guy, so we want some more money. So he would always tell me it's a crap country. It's a crap country, boss. You don't want to go there. But he would always go to India for some fucking reason. I guess this dude, this particular Terp, was some kind of a musician, and if he was, I don't know, like I'm imagining like live music night at a bar in India or something, man. So I would, obviously you ain't going to know India, but I would avoid that place like the fucking plague. I have been to Sri Lanka. I've been to like 3 major cities in Sri Lanka. Colombo there is the capital, and I've been all the way down south. There's a place called Tangala Bay all the way on the south end of Sri Lanka, dude. And it's like you stand on the south end of that motherfucker and you look south and you're like, you feel like you're just staring out into the fucking wide open, dead Indian Ocean. I mean, it is like the last fucking stop, dude. Like the last stop on the Street Shitter Express. It fucking sucks. So pretty much everything that you know, see about Indians, Sri Lankans, these kinds of people, man, it doesn't feel quite as bad there, but I mean it's still extremely dirty, man, extremely nasty, like extremely unsavory. You could just feel the eyes on you the whole time, like how can I get $1 out of this motherfucker? So you just don't want it. So looking generally at Asia, man, I guess to me the big takeaway is that, like, yeah, you could move there to escape. You could move there maybe, you know, to save your nickels a little bit if you got some kind of passive income or you're like a digital nomad or some kind of thing like this. If you could do that, it might be, you know, and you're in your 20s or something, it might be a place to lay up for a minute while the West collapses, or, you know, you wait for things to stabilize, save a couple of nickels, some kind of a thing. But I honestly don't know that I would spend too much time there because the shit grows on you, dude. And you start developing little attitudes and habits that you won't even know it till you come back, but it will stick with you. Like when I left, the last time I was in Southeast Asia, I left and I stopped somewhere on the way back home. And I'm just standing there with a drink, and I'm going to go see what's going on. I walk outside with my drink, and here comes this fucking chick, like, hey, you can't. What are you doing? I turn around. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? She's like, your drink. You can't take that outside. I'm like, oh, fuck. Sorry. Yeah, here, take this. Get out of here. So you develop this kind of way of thinking of, like, you're used to living in this more, I don't know, primitive, no rules kind of a thing, and it fucks with your head a little bit. So you got to think about, like, dude, if I had a wife, would I bring my wife into this shit? If you have kids, would you bring your kids into this shit? And then, you know, what's going to happen if you either way, you got a son or a daughter. You got a son who grows up and hooks up with a bar girl, for God's sake. Don't fucking do that. Come on, you know, but what option does he have? You got some daughter, God forbid, like hooks up with, you know, what is boyfriend, girlfriend with some local in fucking like Korea or something. You think that's going to be popular? She's going to be extremely unpopular. So you don't want to do that to them either. So to me, it's like you got to go there with a plan. You got to go there with a plan to be very, very temporary if you were going to go at all. That's just what I think. That was my experience. But, I mean, you choose your own adventure. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up there, man. If you dig this content, leave it where somebody could find it. It's like we always say, the world needs more people like us. You can find it everywhere shitty content is pervade, your Spotify, your YouTube, your iTunes, your Rumble. And if you want to leave me a couple of bucks, the Buy Me a Coffee link is right there. Also, remember, for your coffee needs, get your Above Time coffee at AboveTimeCoffee.com, made by white people for white people. Put it in a cup, put it in your mouth. It's for you. And until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon. Keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee. These are my takes.